Okay, so hello YouTubers, this is a video I've been planning to make now for literally since the B&M sets actually came out, the October ones people are referring them to. Unfortunately I had to wait on a delivery, which I'll get into in a second. So for the moment I'm just going to show you some of the basic sort of things, and none of these require you to paint any of the Daleks, and all of the customs or fixes in some cases I'm going to show you are completely reversible. So if you decide to go back to how it was before, then you can very easily just do that. So the first thing is that obviously that's a bloody irritating small pupil. Now if we take a look at this Dalek, this one is actually a flamethrower Dalek, which I've swapped the plunger with the Supreme, so it's a good way to ambulate. The hemispheres may be the wrong colour but skill, and this is just simply by pulling out the plunger and the flamethrower and literally swapping them over. So yeah, that's a really easy way to army building. You get a Dalek with the full size eye. Now this one, it might be hard to tell actually on camera, but this one actually still has the small pupil, and this is because I bought some of these. Yes, I'll throw the link up in the description for these. This is what I was waiting for to arrive. So these are 3mm, 2mm, and I think 4mm circular stickers. Now what you want is the 2mm ones, because I actually did measure the eyes, and the eyes, the dip is technically 3mm, but you know, you want it to be the tiniest bit smaller, so that's why I've used a 2mm one here. So literally what this is, and I've put it on, I might have put it on a little bit wonky. I was literally just desperately trying to do this just before the video. I might fix it up later. I suggest you use some tweezers. This eye stalk is also a bit bent as well, but you can see it actually matches the white colour really well. Actually, it really does match the colour. And the good thing is that these stickers, rather than being paper, these are actually little, I think they're made of PVC or something like that, so it matches it much better than if there were little paper ones. So yeah, I'll throw the link up in the description. The cost just under £2, I believe. Now for me it took quite a while for them to actually arrive. Took a couple of weeks, which is a week longer than what I said, but they did, you know, eventually arrive. So that is basically the simplest way you can customize these eyes. You know, if you don't want to be swapping things around and just want it done and over with. And you can also obviously add it to your Supreme. In fact, actually, you know what, we'll do one on camera right now. I'll actually just get one of them. There we go. Yeah, I recommend you use tweezers rather than just using my fingers. I'm just using my fingers because it's quick. But there we go, I've placed one of the stickers on, and there you go. A full-size eye stalk for the Supreme Dalek. And it means you still got the black section here. Now, in terms of this issue here, there's no real way to actually fix that without painting it or swapping parts. Now, another custom you might want to do are these two here. So this one is the Dalek from the chase that has the black section in the eye, but mainly the silver ball on the end. And this one is just like a standard Dalek, but it's got the darker hemispheres with the full-size eye. Now these, you require a head swap or sometimes an actual eye swap. So what I'm going to do now is cut to a week ago, and where I actually show you how to actually put these together. So back to week ago me. Okay, so for those who don't know how, or just would like, you know, everything to be a step-by-step guide, I'm just going to show you how to remove the eye stalks on these Daleks. And this goes for all Daleks that don't have the removable eye stalk. So this is essentially just how you do it. So on the bottom here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws on the base, and what you'll essentially just have to do is grab a Phillips head screwdriver like this, and just remove all 4 screws. So as you can see here, I'm just removing the last screw now. Now, a word of advice: always make sure you have a magnetic screwdriver. Seriously, because these screws are pretty small, so you know, just the magnetic screwdriver just means that it's much less likely to go lost. But anyway, after you do that, the base comes off pretty simply like that. You can also switch the bases around as well, but as you can see here in the top of this Dalek here, there's a silver, there you go, a silver Phillips head screw in the dome, and you want to get, again, your screwdriver and just unscrew that. And this is why it's helpful to have a magnetic screwdriver, because it's not quite there. Not quite there. Sometimes you actually have to pull the dome off manually for the screw to actually pop out. And there you go, there's the little screw. Make sure you put that somewhere safe. And as I said, after you remove that screw, you can literally just pull the dome off. Sometimes you have to pull the dome off for the screw to just fall out, so just put your hand over the base when that happens. But yeah, essentially for this part, if you ever wanted to remove the neck pins, again, these just slide off like that. And this section here, the slats, they actually are rubber or PVC plastic that comes off. Though I suggest if you are going to remove the slats, use a hairdryer, not a heat gun, a hairdryer, because a heat gun, unless you can adjust the settings on it to be basically the same as a hairdryer, it will melt it. You can also remove this hemisphere. Which one is it? This one here. If you remove those hemispheres, you can actually pull the full thing apart. I don't recommend that unless you're seriously into customizing, because the thing is, it's very difficult to remove these hemispheres without either damaging them or at least scraping the plastic, because normally you need pliers for that. But anyway, here's the dome itself. Now, before I get on to the next step, I'm just going to do the same on this Dalek. Same process for all classic Daleks, so I'll be back when I've done that. Now, one thing that is just worth pointing out is the Dalek Invasion of Earth black screws are slightly longer due to the size of the base, so it's a good idea to try and separate these. I'm actually using the base off the Dalek Invasion of Earth Dalek to actually keep the screws there, but the screw that goes up to the dome is exactly the same as the other, so with that one it doesn't really matter if you switch them up. I mean, to be honest, if you did switch them up, you would quickly realise, because there'd be a screw that was either too short or too long. So that one's released. There we go. So that's the screw from the dome. And now the dome pops off just like the other one. So there we go. So obviously what we need to do now is swap the 2 eyes around. So as you can see here, what we need to do now is, I'll show you on this one actually. There's 2 screws here that hold this panel in, which stops the eye from coming out. So what you need to do is remove this panel, but make sure you are careful with it. And the reason is the way these eyes actually work compared to the previous ones. The rod that held the eye was fixed in place. With the new ones, the rod, well, since I think the Sound Effects Daleks or thereabouts, the rod is kind of just fixed in place. Actually, I think it was the original Chase Daleks that first introduced the non-removable eye, because I've got Chase Daleks that don't have the removable eye. But yeah, it does just depend. But as you can see, if I remove that piece of plastic, you can see here the little rod. Just there, that little rod. And actually, here's a little tip. If your eye is loose, you can actually put some blue tack around here, and that will actually stiffen the eye up. But what you want to do now is a very delicate job, which I'm going to put the screwdriver for. I'm going to put this dome flat on my hand, like this. and you can just about see the rod there. So what you need to do is actually remove the rod. So what I'm going to do is go push it into the palm of my hand. I'm going to put it down there, and that will allow me to remove this eye. And I'm going to do the same with this one, so I'll be back when I've done that. Okay, so you can see I've removed the two eyes, and actually this is a good opportunity that if they're bent at all, then this is a good chance to straighten them out. But yeah, these look pretty damn straight, so I'm just going to continue to the next step, which a lot of you can probably guess what it is, and that is simply to just reverse the entire process. So we're going to put the eye in this dome, which is the one I want to put it in, push it through. I'm going to get the little rod, and then we have to push it through, and this is a bit fiddly, so I'm going to do it off camera, but I'm going to show you what I've done. So I've just put the rod back through, so it's now resting on there. That's all nice, well and good. And now what I'm going to do is put the plastic piece back on top, and then screw this back in. Okay, so as you can see, I've just put the panels and that back in, so the eyes are nice like that. This also stops them from being loose. Most of the time, the screws on this little panel here aren't tight enough for this to be loose, so you don't want to make the screws too tight, but you don't want to have them be too loose either. So the only thing to do now is literally just do the reverse of what you did before. Put the dome on, put the screw in there, put the base on, put the 4 screws back on. So let's go do that. And there we have it. So yeah, these two now both have each other's eyes. The domes are screwed on as well as the screws on the bases. So there you go. So really this one still isn't technically accurate since it shouldn't have the small people, but again I've either already gone on about that in this video, or I'm going on about it. Just about to go on about it. But this one, apart from the shoulder section, which again, if you took the slats off, then you could repaint it. But the eye is accurate to one of the Daleks in the story that only survives up until episode 4. No, not even that, episode 3. It's the one that goes off the Mary Celeste, although they actually cut to a different prop when it actually goes off. But yeah, after the Mary Celeste, you never see this Dalek with the silver ball and the black bit of the eye ever again. There we go, though. And there is a couple of Daleks in Dalek Invasion that do have the black ball on the eye. So, yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. That's how to basically make some improvements to some of these Daleks, like giving them the proper full-size eye stalks, which, to be honest, works really well with those stickers, actually. To be honest, if I didn't know there was... I'm going to be honest, if I didn't know there were stickers, I would have just thought they were the full-size painted eye. But yeah, and you do get quite a few with these as well. You do get quite a few of them. It's only the smallest ones to use, though. But yeah... Overall, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.